Welcome guys to episode 10 of Ask Jungle Scout. If you're not familiar with the show, it's a weekly segment where we answer your top questions on Amazon selling, FBA and private label. So if you want your question to be answered on the show, make sure you drop it in the comments below. And please subscribe to our channel so you never miss any of our videos. Let's get to it. Vince Peng asks, how to make sure products are at good quality when you have the supplier ship directly to FBA? Does your forwarder do QA, quality assurance, on your product for you? Thanks, Vince. I'm not aware of any freight forwarders that would do inspections on your inventory. This would normally be done by a third-party company. I haven't used any personally. However, Greg recently mentioned one that he's used before that's called asiainspection.com. So what they do is that they go to your factory and inspect your shipment before it gets shipped out. The advantage of this is that it's a lot easier to fix any problems that you might find with your inventory before it's been shipped to Amazon. Alicia asks, I'm particularly confused by the differences between a private label seller versus someone who sells on an already existing brand on their store page. I'm also confused by an existing brand being sold by multiple sellers. Are those sellers distributors? It will be great if you also define differences from private labeling, retail arbitrage, wholesaling, etc. Thanks, Alicia. I'll start by going through the different definitions. So private label. Now this is the one that we talk about the most, and it's the act of taking a generic product and putting your brand and your logo on it. So when it comes to selling on Amazon, you create a brand new listing. You are the manufacturer and also the seller of that product. Then you have retail arbitrage and wholesaling, both of which involve selling on existing listings on Amazon. So with retail arbitrage, that's where people will go out bargain hunting. So they might have access to, discount racks or places that are liquidating stock and essentially, bargain hunting, buying products cheap and then selling them at full price on Amazon on the current manufacturer's listings. So just note here that they're not creating a new listing, but just selling on someone else's listing. Okay, and then you've got wholesaling. That's where you've been officially authorized as a reseller of a particular brand. So again, you're selling on their listing. You've perhaps contacted the company, and then you've bought from them wholesale, and then you send it into Amazon and you sell on that listing. You can't create your own listing for this, because you are selling someone else's brand. So I hope that makes sense. Now, generally speaking, as a private label seller, there should only be one seller on that listing. That is because you are the manufacturer and the seller. No one else should be able to sell your product unless they've bought it from you and you would know about it. There are a few instances where this might happen though. For instance, if there's a customer return and it gets sent back to Amazon, sometimes they will then relist that as sort of refurbished and it'll be sold by Amazon in a used condition. Sometimes, you might actually sell to a customer as well and they may not want it anymore. They are allowed to sell off that item on your listing. If they've opened it, they need to state that it's been used, or if they haven't opened it, they are able to sell it as new on your listing. However, it's just one unit, and once that one unit is gone, there's nothing to worry about. So then it comes to probably the worst one, which is where someone is selling counterfeit stock on your listing. This is the one that you want to be a little bit careful about, and we have talked about this in some other videos, so I'll link to that video below. It's called listing hijacking. So that's the other way that there could be someone selling on your listing. Otherwise, yes, it would have to be someone that's been authorized as a reseller of that brand. So I hope that was able to clear that up for you, Alicia. Arturo asks, could you please make a quick step-by-step guide on how to work on a shipping plan? There's a lot of important choices to make there and could be really informative for those who have never done this before. Cool, thanks for the question, Arturo. Let's jump to my screen and I'll show you now.
Now I'm in Amazon Seller Central and I'm just setting up a new shipping plan. So firstly, you can choose to either create a new plan or add an existing plan. Adding to an existing shipping plan is perhaps you've got two products, you want to send them both in at the same time. When it comes to sending in the second product, you just click add to an existing shipping plan and it gives you the ability to choose the shipping plan that you've already set up. Otherwise, just create a new shipping plan. The ship from address here is where you put in your supplier's address. So just ask your supplier for what their address is, or it should have it on the invoice or on their website. Now, if you're just sending in the one type of product, you want a case-packed product. I'll show you the little demonstration over here. Individual products is if you're sending in a whole heap of different SKUs and all in one box. Otherwise, if it's just the one product and you're sending in everything the same, then go with case-packed products. Continue. On this page, you now need to enter the quantity of units that you're going to be sending. If you don't know how many units are sent per case or per carton, ask your supplier. Now, this doesn't have to be the exact number of units per case and number of cases, as you can create the box configurations later on. The most important thing is that the total number of units is correct. You can modify this later, but it only allows you to change it by a few units less or more. Amazon wants you to confirm that you're aware of any storage fees. Now, for some products, you might have to give more information if it's in a restricted category or something like that, but for the most part, you shouldn't need to take any further action. Click continue. Again, in most cases, you should be able to click continue. Now here you get to choose whether you're going to apply the FNSKU barcodes or whether Amazon is going to do it. Notice if I select Amazon, it shows me that it's going to cost 20 cents per unit. So usually you can get your supplier to do this. So I would just make that merchant. If you haven't got the labels already, you've got the option to download them here. However, you can do that straight from your inventory screen as well. Click continue. Now you can give a name to your shipment over here. And if you can confirm that all these details are correct, hit approve shipment. Come over to work on shipment. You do have to create a shipping plan in order to see where Amazon is going to send the product. So in order to be able to tell your supplier or freight forwarder exactly where to ship your products, you do need to create this shipping plan first. Now copy the address that Amazon gives you and send that to your freight forwarder or supplier. Okay, now you can review your shipment contents, select your shipping method, and then you can select your carrier if it is here, or just hit other. Just select whether it's everything in one box or multiple boxes. Usually it would be multiple boxes. Now you can set up multiple box configurations. So if you've got different box sizes, you can set that up here. Make sure that your total adds up to the correct amount, and then you can confirm that one. If you have changed the number of boxes that you've got here, do make sure that you print your box labels again. This will give you the PDF which you can send to your supplier or freight forwarder. Once you've done that, hit complete shipment and you'll be done.
Tiffany asks, if I need to purchase 2 products from 2 different suppliers, for example, a cup and a lid, do I need to have the products shipped to me and package myself, or is there another option that I'm not aware of? Thanks, Tiffany. Now, I have answered this question in a previous episode, and I'll link to that episode down here below. But I wanted to include this one just in case there was anyone else out there new that was wondering the same thing. So make sure you check out that episode. The very short answer is yes, there is another option. In a lot of instances, you'd be able to send from one supplier to the other, and then that one supplier will ship and package both those products for you. Okay, Cedric asks, you always talk about number of sales, number of reviews, price, size, and most of the time you looked at the first 10 sellers, but you never went into detail on the total number of sellers, e.g. you never scrolled down much further than 24 or so. Could you comment on the total number of sellers and how a product can be considered a red flag or not according to this number? So yes, we generally talk about looking at the top 10 listings or the first page of results on Amazon for a product that you're looking at. And you're asking, why don't we look at the subsequent pages when gauging competition? Well, you're right, it does actually play a little bit of a part in terms of how competitive a product is. I wouldn't place too much importance on it. Essentially, Greg's sort of rule of thumb is that you don't want more than 2, 3, or 4 pages of results for the exact item that you're looking for. If you look for stainless steel water bottle, it's okay if you've got a couple of pages of those water bottles, But then once you get to page 3 or 4, you'd be wanting to see that, it's starting to show, glass water bottles or things that aren't necessarily related to the keyword that you're targeting. So you don't want too many pages of results because that might mean there is a lot of competition. That being said, the first page of results is still the most important. Why? Because that's where people shop. Most people aren't going to go past page 1 to make a purchasing decision. So really, the people that you're trying to beat when if you launch that same product, you're trying to beat the people on the first page. So you want to see how competitive are they? How many reviews do they have? Because that's probably the most important part of assessing your competition, is that first page of results. So that's why we don't talk as much about looking at subsequent pages. It is something to take into consideration, but it's not as important as that first page of results. Antal asks, I have a question regarding Amazon Brand Registry. I have the logo on the packaging, but not on the items themselves. Am I eligible for Brand Registry? Thanks for the question, Antal. I was about to answer this question, but then I discovered that as of today, mid-April 2017, Amazon isn't taking any applications for Brand Registry because they're bringing out a new system that I believe is going to be called Brand Central. Now, we don't know much about this. However, Amazon has said that they're putting it in place to further protect sellers. So hopefully it's going to be a better version of the current Brand Registry. So in light of that, I don't actually know what the new guidelines are going to be. It doesn't look like you can apply currently. It could come out very soon. So hopefully that is the case. I for one am quite excited to see what they come up with, and fingers crossed it will be something that will help sellers protect their brands even further. So that's all the questions for today, guys. I hope you got some value. Please give us a big thumbs up if you liked today's show. And always remember to put your question in the comments below so that I have the chance to answer them in a later show. Until next week, have a wonderful week, guys. We'll see you then.